Have you ever looked back at your day and wondered, why do I always end up on the losing side, no matter how hard I try? It's something we all experience from time to time, and it can be especially frustrating when it feels like the losses keep piling up. You might be thinking, I've lived a good life, so why does it feel like things just aren't going my way anymore? If that sounds familiar, I want you to know, you're not alone. We all hit rough patches, no matter our age or stage in life. Now, if you're over 60, you might feel like the losses in life, whether it's in relationships, health, or finances, are stacking up. But here's the thing. It's not just about what happens to you, but how you respond to it. The way you react to challenges, the mindset you bring to every situation, and the habits you develop all contribute to whether you keep seeing yourself on that loss list. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into why this happens and what it reveals about you. More importantly, we'll talk about what you can do to change it. The first step in getting off the loss list is understanding why you're there in the first place. It's not always about being unlucky or facing some unfair situation. It often boils down to a few key habits or mindsets that we unintentionally fall into over time. These habits or thought patterns can keep us stuck, replaying the same struggles over and over. So what is the first thing that might be keeping you stuck on that loss list? It's a habit that's surprisingly common, and it happens when we start to look at life as something that's happening to us, instead of something we're actively participating in. When we slip into the mindset of life happens to me, it takes away our sense of agency. It leaves us feeling like we're just passengers on a ride we have no control over. This is especially true as we get older, and the challenges of aging can sometimes feel like obstacles we simply can't overcome. When life feels out of control, it's easy to focus on what we can't change, be it our health, financial setbacks, or even relationships that have soured over time. But here's the kicker. Focusing on the things we can't control just amplifies those feelings of being a victim of circumstance. In fact, this mindset often keeps us stuck in patterns that reinforce our place on the loss list. Take health, for example. As we age, we may find ourselves facing more medical issues, aches, and pains. But if we approach our health from a place of helplessness, telling ourselves, this is just the way it is as you get older, we can easily start to accept defeat. We stop looking for solutions, and that can result in things getting worse. But if you shift your perspective, even just a little, and start to see your health as something you can still actively manage, you might find that it's possible to improve, or at least maintain, your quality of life. So how do you change this mindset? Start by recognizing that life doesn't just happen to you. You have the power to change your response, to shift the way you look at each day. If you're facing a setback, take a moment to reframe it. What can I learn from this? What's something I can do differently tomorrow? It's all about reclaiming your role as an active participant in your own life. This leads us to the second point, which is about the importance of routines. Many people, especially as they get older, start to feel like they've done all they can and that it's too late to change anything. You may have heard people say, I'm too old to try something new. But that's just not true. The truth is, creating new habits, especially healthy ones, can make a huge difference in how you experience your days and how you feel about yourself. In fact, research has shown that maintaining a routine, especially one that includes some form of physical activity, helps to keep the mind sharp and the body healthy. So, whether it's starting your day with a gentle walk or setting aside time to meditate or journal, creating a routine gives you structure and helps to reframe your approach to challenges. I get it. Sometimes it feels like too much effort, especially if you're tired or dealing with physical discomfort. But starting small is key. Begin with just 10 minutes of a simple, enjoyable activity. Maybe it's reading a few pages of a book you've been meaning to get to, or stretching for a few minutes in the morning. As you begin to incorporate these small, consistent actions into your day, you'll start to feel a sense of accomplishment, and that can snowball into bigger changes. The beauty of a routine is that it doesn't just help your body, it also supports your mind. When you take control over your daily actions, it reinforces the idea that you are in charge of your life, no matter how many years have passed. Now that we've talked about shifting from a passive mindset to an active one and the power of routines, it's time to explore the next key factor: relationships. Many people find themselves on the loss list because of negative or toxic relationships, or because they've isolated themselves over time. The truth is, your relationships have a direct impact on how you feel about yourself and your life. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into why relationships matter so much and how to foster connections that support your goals. Now that we've discussed the power of shifting your mindset and creating routines, let's dive deeper into something that plays a huge role in whether you feel like you're always losing: your relationships. Whether it's family, friends, or acquaintances, the people around you can either lift you up or bring you down. And as we age, the dynamics of these relationships can change. Maybe you've experienced people drifting away, or perhaps you've felt lonely at times. But let me tell you, the quality of your relationships can make all the difference in how you see yourself and your future. The first thing I want to emphasize is the importance of nurturing meaningful connections. It's easy, as we get older, to think that relationships are a thing of the past. Perhaps you've been married for decades, or maybe your circle has grown smaller. It's natural for friendships to evolve or fade, but that doesn't mean you should stop making an effort to connect with others. In fact, studies have shown that having strong social ties is one of the key factors in maintaining not just emotional well-being, but also physical health as we age. So, if you're finding yourself isolated or disconnected, it's time to consider how you can build or strengthen relationships that truly matter. Let's talk about quality over quantity. It's tempting to try and surround yourself with lots of people, but the truth is, it's the deep, supportive relationships that are most important. Maybe there's someone from your past that you've lost touch with. Consider reaching out. It could be as simple as picking up the phone or sending a heartfelt message to reconnect. Don't underestimate the power of an old friend's kindness or a family member's support. Sometimes, the smallest gestures of love and understanding can make the biggest difference. But building meaningful relationships isn't just about reaching out to others, it's also about being open and vulnerable. That's right. Allowing yourself to be authentic and honest with the people in your life can help you form deeper, more connected bonds. Whether it's sharing your thoughts, your struggles, or your joys, opening up can lead to a richer and more fulfilling social life. And here's the kicker: the more you open up, the more others will feel comfortable doing the same. This creates a cycle of trust and understanding that can help you feel less alone in the world. I get it. Sometimes it feels like too much effort, especially if you're tired or dealing with physical discomfort. But starting small is key. Begin with just 10 minutes of a simple, enjoyable activity. Maybe it's reading a few pages of a book you've been meaning to get to, or stretching for a few minutes in the morning. As you begin to incorporate these small, consistent actions into your day, you'll start to feel a sense of accomplishment, and that can snowball into bigger changes. The beauty of a routine is that it doesn't just help your body, it also supports your mind. When you take control over your daily actions, it reinforces the idea that you are in charge of your life, no matter how many years have passed. Now that we've talked about shifting from a passive mindset to an active one and the power of routines, it's time to explore the next key factor: relationships. Many people find themselves on the loss list because of negative or toxic relationships, or because they've isolated themselves over time. The truth is, your relationships have a direct impact on how you feel about yourself and your life. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into why relationships matter so much and how to foster connections that support your goals. Now that we've discussed the power of shifting your mindset and creating routines, let's dive deeper into something that plays a huge role in whether you feel like you're always losing: your relationships. Whether it's family, friends, or acquaintances, the people around you can either lift you up or bring you down. And as we age, the dynamics of these relationships can change. Maybe you've experienced people drifting away, or perhaps you felt lonely at times. But let me tell you, The quality of your relationships can make all the difference in how you see yourself and your future. The first thing I want to emphasize is the importance of nurturing meaningful connections. It's easy, as we get older, to think that relationships are a thing of the past. Perhaps you've been married for decades, or maybe your circle has grown smaller. It's natural for friendships to evolve or fade, but that doesn't mean you should stop making an effort to connect with others. In fact, studies have shown that having strong social ties is one of the key factors in maintaining not just emotional well-being, but also physical health as we age. So, if you're finding yourself isolated or disconnected, it's time to consider how you can build or strengthen relationships that truly matter. Let's talk about quality over quantity. It's tempting to try and surround yourself with lots of people, but the truth is, it's the deep, supportive relationships that are most important. Maybe there's someone from your past that you've lost touch with. Consider reaching out. It could be as simple as picking up the phone or sending a heartfelt message to reconnect. Don't underestimate the power of an old friend's kindness or a family member's support. Sometimes, the smallest gestures of love and understanding can make the biggest difference. But building meaningful relationships isn't just about reaching out to others. It's also about being open and vulnerable. That's right. Allowing yourself to be authentic and honest with the people in your life can help you form deeper, more connected bonds. Whether it's sharing your thoughts, your struggles, or your joys, opening up can lead to a richer and more fulfilling social life. And here's the kicker. The more you open up, the more others will feel comfortable doing the same. This creates a cycle of trust and understanding that can help you feel less alone in the world. Let me give you an example. I know someone who, later in life, began to feel very isolated. His children had moved away and his social circle had dwindled over the years. But he made a decision. He began volunteering at a local community center. At first, it was just a way to get out of the house and do something. But over time, he formed deep friendships with people who shared his interests and values. What started as a simple routine turned into a network of relationships that gave him a sense of purpose, connection, and joy. So, whether it's finding new ways to reconnect with family, joining a local group or hobby, or reaching out to an old friend, remember that relationships are a two-way street. It's about putting in the effort to connect, but it's also about being open to receiving support and love. You don't have to go through life alone, and sometimes taking that first step can turn things around faster than you think. Now let's move on to another key point that often gets overlooked: how our physical health directly affects how we see our lives. You may have noticed that when your body feels good, your mind follows suit. But when your health starts to decline, it can feel like everything else starts to fall apart too. That's why taking care of your health is so crucial in getting off that loss list. And I'm not just talking about the big things, like chronic illness or serious surgery. I'm talking about the small daily habits that can either help you feel good or leave you feeling defeated. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking, I'm getting older, so I should expect to feel tired or slow. And yes, as we age, our energy levels do change. But that doesn't mean we have to accept feeling sluggish or low all the time. Simple things like staying active, eating a balanced diet, and getting enough sleep can make a huge difference. Even if it's just a short walk each day, or eating a little more vegetables, these small steps can help you feel more energetic and, most importantly, more in control. One of the easiest ways to get started is to focus on one simple change. Maybe you could begin by setting a goal to get outside for 20 minutes every morning. It could be a walk around your neighborhood, or just sitting outside and soaking up the sunshine. That 20 minutes might seem small, but the benefits of fresh air and sunlight are huge. Not only does it help with your physical health, but it can also boost your mood, clear your mind, and help you feel more connected to the world around you. And let's not forget about sleep. As we get older, sleep patterns can change, and we might find it harder to get a full night's rest. But if you can create a relaxing bedtime routine, like reading a book or listening to calming music before bed, it can make a big difference in how well you sleep. Good sleep is the foundation for everything else. Without it, your energy, mood, and overall well-being will suffer. When you take control of your health, even in small ways, it's not just about feeling better physically, it's about feeling empowered. And that sense of empowerment plays a huge role in shifting you off that loss list and into a place where you're actively creating positive change in your life. So far, we've talked about the power of mindset, routines, and relationships, as well as the importance of taking care of your physical health. But there's one more piece of the puzzle that can make all the difference: your perspective on aging itself. Aging doesn't have to be synonymous with loss. In fact, it can be a time of growth, reinvention, and embracing new possibilities. Let's talk more about that in the next part. As we've explored, your mindset, relationships, and physical health all play key roles in how you experience life and whether you feel like you're always on the loss list. But there's one more important factor to consider, and that's your perspective on aging. The way you view this stage of life can either propel you forward or keep you stuck in a cycle of feeling defeated. It's easy, as we get older, to start thinking that the best years are behind us. You may feel like you've already lived through your peak moments, and now it's just about getting by. But that mindset can be incredibly limiting. The truth is, aging doesn't mean you have to stop pursuing new goals or finding joy in life. In fact, embracing this stage of life with a sense of possibility can open up a whole new world of opportunities. You don't have to let society's expectations of aging define your experience. You can rewrite your story, no matter your age. This shift in perspective is crucial. Instead of seeing aging as a time of loss or decline, think of it as an opportunity for growth. Many people discover new passions or hobbies later in life, whether it's painting, learning a new language, or even starting a small business. This is a time when you can focus on personal growth and self-discovery in ways you might not have had the chance to before. The key is to embrace the idea that you can still evolve, still learn, and still make an impact on the world around you. For example, take someone like Grandma Moses, a famous American folk artist who began painting in her 70s. Despite not starting her artistic journey until later in life, she went on to become one of the most celebrated painters in America. She didn't let age hold her back. Instead, she embraced her passion and let it lead her to a fulfilling, successful chapter in her life. Stories like hers are a reminder that it's never too late to start something new or to live life to the fullest. If you're in a place where you feel like you've been stuck on the loss list for too long, I encourage you to take a step back and ask yourself, what would it look like if I embraced this stage of life as an opportunity? What new things could I try? What dreams could I pursue now that I have the time and freedom to focus on them? You might find that the possibilities are greater than you ever imagined. Now let's talk about a powerful tool that can help shift your perspective even more: gratitude. When you focus on what you already have, your health, your family, your experiences, it shifts your entire outlook. It's easy to dwell on what's going wrong or what's missing, but practicing gratitude can change the way you see your world. You might find that by simply acknowledging the positive aspects of your life, you start to feel more abundant, more satisfied, and yes, more empowered. For instance, if you've been feeling down about your health, try to focus on the things that are still working well. Maybe you've got more energy than you did a year ago, or you're able to do something today that you couldn't do before. Or perhaps there's a family member who always brightens your day. These small moments of gratitude add up over time and can help you move off that loss list by reminding you of all the ways in which you are still winning. And here's the thing, sometimes the biggest wins aren't the big, flashy successes we see on social media or in the movies. The real victories are the quiet ones: finding peace in your daily routine, maintaining a healthy relationship, learning something new, or simply enjoying the little things in life. These are the moments that truly matter, and they are the foundation of a rich, fulfilling life as you age. I know it can feel difficult to make these changes, especially if you've been in a negative or defeated mindset for a while. But remember, it's not about making huge shifts all at once. Start small and be gentle with yourself. You don't need to turn your life upside down overnight. Just take one step at a time, and gradually you'll begin to notice a change in how you see yourself and the world around you. In closing, remember this: life doesn't stop just because you've hit a certain age. The best days are not behind you, they're ahead of you. With a positive mindset, meaningful relationships, good health, and a little gratitude, you can move off the loss list and into a place where you feel empowered, fulfilled, and at peace. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear about your experiences and thoughts on this topic. Have you ever felt like you're always losing? And how did you turn it around? Share your stories in the comments. I'm sure you'll inspire others too. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring content. Here's to living your best life at any age, because every day is a new chance to start fresh and make the most of what you have. Let's keep moving forward together. I'm glad you're still with me. Now that we've covered how a shift in mindset, strong relationships, and a healthy lifestyle can help you break free from that loss list, let's talk about the last few key habits that can truly make a difference. These habits are not just about physical changes, but also about how you show up for yourself each and every day. One important aspect that I'd like to dive into now is the role of resilience. Resilience is your ability to bounce back after facing challenges. It's that inner strength that allows you to handle the curveballs life throws at you and to keep going despite the difficulties. Resilience doesn't mean you won't face setbacks. It means that when you do, you'll have the tools to rise up again. As we age, challenges can sometimes feel more intense. Whether it's dealing with health problems, navigating retirement, or adjusting to a slower pace of life, resilience becomes even more crucial. But here's the good news. Resilience is a skill that can be built over time. It's not something you're born with, it's something you can develop no matter your age. One powerful way to build resilience is through embracing a growth mindset. This is the belief that you can learn, adapt, and grow, even in the face of adversity. So, if you're faced with a health setback, for example, instead of thinking, "This is the end, and I'll never be the same," try shifting your thinking to, "This is tough, but I can figure out a way to cope, adapt, and keep moving forward." This kind of thinking empowers you, helping you navigate difficult situations with hope instead of fear. And if you need a little inspiration, think of someone who embodies resilience. Take the example of someone who faces a chronic illness but continues to engage in life, finding joy in small things. Or maybe you know someone who went through a difficult financial period but found new ways to stay afloat, and eventually even thrived. These stories remind us that, no matter what life throws at us, we have the ability to adapt and grow stronger. Building resilience also means learning how to manage stress. It's no secret that life can sometimes feel overwhelming. But if you can find healthy ways to manage stress, whether it's through mindfulness, meditation, or simply taking time for yourself, you'll find that you're better equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Speaking of taking time for yourself, let's move to another crucial habit: self-care. In our younger years, many of us are focused on others, whether it's taking care of children, work responsibilities, or community obligations. But as we age, it becomes even more important to focus on caring for ourselves. Self-care isn't just about pampering yourself, although that can be part of it. It's about prioritizing your well-being in every aspect of your life. Self-care can take many forms. Maybe it's setting aside time for a hobby you love, whether that's gardening, reading, or crafting. Perhaps it's making sure you get regular checkups or following a health routine that works for your body. Self-care also means giving yourself permission to rest when you need it, without guilt. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do for yourself is simply to relax and recharge. If you haven't already, think about what self-care looks like for you. Is there something you've always wanted to do, but never had the time for? Is there a practice you could introduce into your life, like journaling, meditation, or yoga? Even small acts of self-care, done consistently, can make a huge impact on your overall well-being and happiness. Now, let's wrap this up with a final thought. No matter where you are in life, remember that it's never too late to make changes. The loss list doesn't have to be your permanent address. By adjusting your mindset, building meaningful relationships, maintaining a healthy lifestyle, embracing resilience, and prioritizing self-care, you'll create a life that is not only fulfilling, but also full of possibilities. So, I want to leave you with this. You are capable of more than you realize. The fact that you're here, reading or watching this, shows that you are already taking steps toward living a better life. And if you keep taking small actions every day, before you know it, you'll be far away from that loss list, living a life full of purpose, joy, and strength. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this message resonated with you, and I encourage you to start taking these steps right away. Whether it's taking control of your health, reaching out to loved ones, or simply taking a moment to appreciate the good in your life, these are the things that will keep you moving forward. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more content that helps you live your best life, no matter your age.